Hey sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Michaela Barnhart and I'm going into my third year teaching second grade in South Carolina. And today's video is going to be all about Meet the Teacher, prep with me, talk about it after it's over, all of the things. Alright, so I'm going to start by sharing my little to-do list that I created for myself. This is everything that I could think of that I needed to do for Meet the Teacher. So first on the list, and I'm not necessarily going to do them in this order, but I have fixing our schedule. I have a schedule made already. I just need to get it on the cards over here and get them in the correct order. Then I need to make my foldable. I always put in a foldable, which I will show you guys like how I make it and all that kind of stuff, but I need to get that made. I need to make a slideshow of whatever I want to talk about during Meet the Teacher, which we can talk about more in just a second as well. Red folders, I need to make covers and then get them stuffed. They are sitting on my table right here. All of these papers right here have to go in them, so I just need to get that done at some point today. I need to get name tags put out on desks. I've already printed forms, so we actually can take that off the list. And then once I get everything stuffed and ready, I need to set up the desks with the forms and the folders and everything on them. And then I also will put a desk outside tomorrow morning with my sign-in on it. So all of that is what I have to get done for Meet the Teacher. It's not too much. The most time-consuming things are going to be these top three, so I think I'm going to actually start with some of these other smaller tasks to get them out of the way, and then we'll go from there. So let's do it done. Okay, so I'm sitting at my desk at my little small group table right now, and I think I'm going to start by showing you guys what I have already prepped for Meet the Teacher, and kind of like what is going to be on the tables for the kids to fill out, because I know my first year of teaching, at least, I was kind of like, I was really nervous to Meet the Teacher because I had never been the sole teacher in the classroom to do it, but I also just wasn't quite sure what I would need. And obviously this is different for every school or school district. Whatever your school requires you to have is going to be different than what my school requires. Our school really only requires one sign-in sheet outside of the door that tells us how the kids are going to get home and if they have internet access at home. That's the only thing that is provided by the school that we have to have the parents sign. Now, there are a lot of like just random forms from the office that go into the red folders that I was talking about. So I can't really show all of those, but they are very school specific. So obviously that kind of stuff you would have to have from your school. But I will show you the extra things that we do on my team, or that I do myself, and kind of how I use them and why and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna flip you guys around, show you all of that, and then we're gonna start stuffing these folders. And then I'm probably gonna go ahead and try to figure out exactly how I want their covers to look for their folders this year. Okay, so I've got my two stacks here of what I'm going to share. I'm covering up some things that are school specific. So this obviously is my Meet the Teacher. I made this myself. The actual like template for it came in the Cutesy collection, or the Cutesy Classroom collection from Miss Jacob's Little Learners on TBT. So if you are in need of one, you can definitely check that out on TBT. But that is where this came from, and then I just filled in all of my own information and my picture. So that is that. Then some things that I have prepped for Meet the Teacher. I'm actually going to come back to that. So first thing we have here is a just regular coloring sheet. It says welcome to second grade. This will be on the desk with some crayons on each table for the kids to fill out or like be able to color on while their parents are listening. I've just found that obviously kids don't always want to sit and listen to all the boring things, and like our admin team put together a video, so we have to share the video first before we even start talking about our classrooms. So it ends up being information overload for the kids. So I'm going to put this out so that they kind of have something to do while they are, while their parents are listening. Then I have two little survey forms. So this one is just student information. So child's name, their birthday, how does their kid normally get home, if it's a bus or daycare, like which one is it, address, home, mom and dad's information, or other guardian, of course, email address, emergency contact, medical contact. And then down here, this is talking about, again, internet for like different games. We use like Exact Path, we do some reading online, that kind of stuff. So this is just them giving their child permission to use the internet at school, or obviously they can check that they can't. And then also, can the child's picture be used in the classroom or the school? So sometimes like I will take pictures of them and I want to be able to print them out and hang them like on a bulletin board or stuff like that around the room, like having pictures of our classroom together. So that's just giving me permission to be able to take their picture and use them, or also to use them for the school, because our school posts them on the like our Facebook page. That's what I was going for. So that is that one. Then this one is a little bit more detailed, but it's more specifically about the kid. So again, we just have normal information at the top: student name, parent name, all of that kind of stuff. This one asks them to star which one is going to be the best way to contact them. Emergency contact info, what language is spoken if it's other than English. And then these are like things specifically about the kids. So do you have any special concerns about your child? What are 2 goals for your kids this year? Please tell me in 1,000,000 words or less if there is anything else I should know about your child. Feel free to brag, use the back if needed. Obviously I did not create this. This came from Jen Ross at the Teachers Condren. This was from 2012. We've been using this for quite some time, but I just wanted to share it so you guys could see it. So have these 2, and then this last thing I have is, again, kind of repeated information. So it asks for the students' names, date of birth, parents' name and address, home, cell phone, email. But the part I'm really worried about here is this bottom part, for transportation. So how will your child get home on Monday, because we start school on a Monday? What about the rest of the week and then the rest of the year? So because I know a lot of times on that first day of school, a lot of parents want to pick up their kids as car riders, or sometimes like certain after school programs haven't started up yet, and so they're going to be going home a different way next week than their normal throughout the year. So this kind of gives me an at a glance way to see how do you want your child to go home on Monday. So what I like to do though is I'll have the kids' parents fill this out at Meet the Teacher and leave it with me. These 2 forms they can take home and fill out at their own like leisure. And then I will just put all of these on a binder ring and hang them back here behind my desk so that I always have them close. That way throughout the year, if I need to be like, okay, I can't remember how Billy Bob goes home, which doesn't ever really happen, but I can pull it and see. Or on the more likely note, what is Billy Bob's mom's name and what's her phone number, because I can't remember and I need to call her about something, then I can just quickly pull this versus having to go get everything else out or look her up in our like online system. So that is what will be on their tables when they get here, along with their red folder for Meet the Teacher. So I'm gonna go ahead and start stuffing folders. These are gonna go in the folders. This will be on top and that will be out as well. And then I have a plethora of other things that have to go in the folders. All right, folders are all stuffed and sitting over there. The little things on the end are the things that are gonna be on the table around the folder. So what I'm about to do now is get my computer pulled up. Sorry, I'm trying to log in. And then we will start making the things. I think I'm gonna start by trying to figure out what I want the cover for my red folders to look like. Usually I make them super cute, but I don't wanna print them at home, nor do I wanna print them here, because usually I print them at home because I make them cute and colorful, and we can't print in color here. We can, but there's only one color printer and we have to send it to our librarian and she has to print it and then give it to us. So being that Meet the Teachers tomorrow morning, I don't have that much time. So what I'm thinking is I will just, sorry, I'm trying to get rid of some stuff. I'm thinking I will just go in and create something simple that can be printed black and white and look okay. Maybe like the front of like a composition book, like a black and white composition book. And then we can get those printed. I can get those like stuffed into the front or slid down the front. And then I also need to make my foldable. But I'm kind of thinking about this. So usually I make a fold, like a just trifold, you know, one piece paper trifold thing. And I have like my contact information. I always put like a classroom wish list of like things like tissues, hand sanitizer, Lysol spray, disinfectant wipes, those kinds of things, construction paper, just simple things like that. I usually have those on there. I usually have like what days we have which activity so that they know when when they need to send their kid in shoes. I mean in tennis shoes for PE. I usually put like what time we have lunch and recess so that they kind of know like if they're getting their kid out, what times they're going to be missing. And then yeah, so, and just a few other like little things. But I've seen all of those cute like little flip book type things versus like a trifold pamphlet. So I'm thinking I might try to make one of those, but I also don't know if I really want to spend that much time to figure that out because it's already 1:30. I get off in 2 hours and I'm not staying late today. So I don't know. And I would like to have it all set up before I come in. I don't come in until 10 tomorrow. That's our time to be here. And our first round for Meet the Teachers at 12:30. So I definitely have time in the morning to do things. But I would really rather it just go ahead and be done today. That way in the morning I can piddle around with whatever else I want to do because I do still need to get stuff done for next week. So anywho though, I'm going to maybe look at some ideas for foldables, but first I'm going to try to design something for the front of these folders. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do them like this and have like just communication folder, and then I can type in their name right here. Obviously I did not do that because you guys don't need to know their names, but I don't love how that looks, but I mean the folders are red, so I think like once it's in there it'll look okay, hopefully. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do. I'm trying to debate, do I actually want to type the kids' names in, or do I want to write them, like just print out a bunch of these and then write them on? I think I'm gonna type them because then at least it's done. So let's get those typed in. You guys aren't gonna be able to see that part, but I'm gonna type them in and send them on down to the printer, and then we will start working on our either foldable or little trifold pamphlet thing, whatever we're gonna do for that. Okay, so here's what it's looking like. This is the, like one side, I don't want to say the front, but this is one side, and then I'll show you the inside in a second. But obviously that will be on the front. Welcome to second grade with my little Bitmoji person. I did not update her this year, but that's okay. And then I have our classroom wish list / needs. I'm covering up my information for contact, but my school email is under here, and then I have a little blurb that we use Parent Square. It used to be called Remind, but now it's Parent Square. So that is the outside. Now let me show you the inside. Okay, I don't think there's anything on here that's school like specific, so you guys can pause and read it if you would like. But basically I just have a little welcome over here. I did put in our activity schedule and make sure that they ensure their kids have tennis shoes for PE. I talked about how I will send home weekly newsletters on Sunday afternoon. I have our day at a glance. I do not get specific with this. I don't put in like what time we're doing math or reading or whatever. I just label it as instructional time, and I have like the whole chunk that we're in the room. So really they just need to see what times we're leaving the room, so that if they pick their kids up like at 11, they know, okay, their kid's missing lunch. Like they need to make sure they get some lunch because they weren't here for that. But yeah, so that's that. And then I have a little blurb about behavior, talking about how I use Class Dojo to give the students points or take away points, and then they can use their points to be able to shop in the school store, in the desk pet store here in my classroom. And then I also have a like whole class reward system where the kids get to choose the reward that we're working towards, and then once they get enough little smiley faces to fill up their bucket, then, or fill up their little jar, then we get whatever the reward was. So I'm gonna go ahead and send this to the printer as well and get that printed out, so then we can probably run to the printer, get all of those things, and then we can go from there. Okay, I just got back from the copier, got these. I just need to fold them, put them in here, and that'll be done. Also grabbed these, so I just need to stuff them in the front, and then we will be able to check off make foldable, stuff red folders, make covers for red folders, and print forms. All those can come off. So I'm gonna do this real quick, and then I'm probably gonna go put name tags. Go ahead and like write the kids' names on their name tags, and then I'm gonna use one piece of tape to just stick them down for tomorrow. And then I'll probably end up moving the kids, you know, within that first week after I kind of get a feel of who, you know, works best with who. So that's the plan. Let's do it. So the day is here. It is the morning of Wednesday, July 30th? Is today the 30th? Yeah, it is. I don't know why I guessed that. Anyways, I just got to school. It is 9:45-ish. We didn't have to be here till 10 this morning, but I went ahead and come in because I feel like coming at 10 is weird. Anywho, I stopped by the store yesterday and got 2 of these boxes of the mini Chips Ahoy cookie bags. And then last night on Canva, I just designed these little tags. They say chip chip hooray. I'm so happy to meet you today. Love, Miss Barnhart. So I'm gonna cut these out, get the bags out, tape them on, and put one at each desk. And then once I have everything set up, I'll show you what's actually on the kids' desk, and I'll walk you through like how I run Meet the Teacher, like what parents do, that kind of stuff, because obviously it depends on each school. At my school, we are given a like 15-minute presentation that our admin filmed, and we just have to play the video for the parents. That goes over everything for like school-wide type stuff, and then we can chat about whatever else we want to put in there. But yeah, obviously that's different for every school, but I do want to show you guys what I do as far as like what's on the tables, and then talk about like what I like to do to run Meet the Teacher, like how I do it, because I feel like that's helpful, especially if you're a first-year teacher, or even if you're a teacher just kind of looking for ideas or how other people do things. So I'll share those in a little bit, but first thing first, I'm gonna get these put on the tables, and then we'll go from there. Okie dokie, so I just finished putting together these little things. Let me show you what they look like. I'm trying to cover up to a name, so I'll grab a different one. I ended up stapling them to the top so that you could actually see that these are Chips Ahoy, because when I tried to just tape it, it like covered the whole bag. So I ended up doing it like that. But for each kid, they have one of these. I'm actually going to put that back like right here. I'm just covering up the name tags. They have their communication folder, which I showed you guys yesterday. I'm covering up a student name here. Then they have that coloring sheet and the little purple sheet that I want parents to fill out. And then that's it. That's all that they will have at their spot. I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to put on the board, and then we can kind of talk through like how I like have parents do this. I am trying to decide though. Throughout my room, I have their caddies, and again, I'm trying to hide names, so I'm trying not to show too much, but I have their caddies. I want them to have crayons at their desk for this, but I'm thinking I might just put a little stack of crayons on each desk instead of letting them go ahead and open their stuff, because I don't really want them messing with that yet. So I think I'm going to pause real quick actually and do that, and get pins out as well for parents so they have pins on each table, and then we'll kind of go from there. Alright guys, so it is almost time for Meet the Teacher, so I'm going to start pulling my stuff up for the board. I've got to get logged in. Please pause. Anywho, I'm going to show you what I made that I'm going to put up. I did not end up making a full slideshow. I just made one screen. So like I was telling you guys earlier, we have to show a video from our admin first, so that'll be like the first 15 minutes. They said to give it about 15 minutes, which is pretty long. So I'm gonna start by showing that. When parents, let's back up, let's just talk through the flow. So when parents get here, I will greet them at the door. Obviously I have a sign in sheet outside that was given to us by our office. It is what it is. So they're gonna start by filling that out, then they will come in the room. I obviously will greet them, tell them, hey, like, go find your kiddo's seat. There are some things on the table for you. Please fill out the purple card and leave that with me today. Everything in the folder is good to go home with you for you guys to look through. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll get started at 12:30 or 4:30, depending on which time we're at. So first, that's what they'll do. I'll continue to greet as they come in and find their seats and do all the things. And then when it's time, I'm gonna say like, okay, you know, I've got a video to show you from our admin, whatever. I'll play the video. I'll make sure we have no questions after the video, or if there are anything that I need to address or anybody we need to try to contact. And then I'm going to just kind of go over a little bit of like what to expect from me. So I will probably try to go over our take-home binders, because that is something that will go home with the kids every day. Kind of go over what to expect in those, what they're for, how I like to do our Wednesday folders, what to expect in those, what they're for. I'll go over like how I do classroom management, behavior things. We will talk about our new thing. We used to have Remind for parent messaging. Now we have, okay, so my camera battery died. Sorry, but anywho, I think I was saying that I'll go over like classroom management stuff. We'll go over Parent Square, which used to be Remind and was bought out, so it looks a little bit different, so we're going to chat about that. And then I'll basically just ask, do they have any questions? Is there anything else that you really want to know about our classroom? Anything you're worried about? I will touch on supplies really quickly. I don't expect them to bring supplies. Our just like community, like where I'm at, where I teach, they don't typically bring the supplies to open house or to Meet the Teacher. They usually just send them with the kids on the first day, which is fine. Either way, I don't really care. So I will touch on how the kids already have like basic things they need, but that I would like to have them have certain things at home. Obviously they still need to send in notebooks, things of that nature. So we'll kind of touch on the supplies. And then yeah, I'll wrap it up by asking, you know, do they have any questions? Is there anything that they really want to know? If not, then we will go ahead and wrap it up, and that'll be it. And then I'll see them on their way out. So that is pretty much it. I really try not to put a lot of stress on it. I feel like it's literally what it is. Like, it's called Meet the Teacher because they are literally here just to meet me. They are here to meet me. They're here to see the classroom, to find out the information they really need to know to get the school year going, and that's it. I don't do any kind of stations. Like I said, I don't expect them to bring anything with them to Meet the Teacher. I try to just keep it really chillaxed. That's just my personal thing. Obviously, you know, it's different at each school. Like I was saying earlier, you have to do whatever your school requires you to do. At my school, we have to play that video, which I have a hate-love relationship with. I really like the fact that they sat down and put together a video, so that's not all something I have to present to these parents. I can just hit play and then we all sit back and we listen until it's over. But yeah, so anywho, let me show you what I am going to put on the board when they first come in. So this will be up before the video plays. Here it is. So let me flip you guys around. Hopefully this looks okay. So I just made this little thing on Canva. Welcome to second grade. I'm so happy you're here. Please find your child's seat and fill out the purple card. And then I did my little Bitmoji. I actually redid her. Ain't she so cute? So yeah, they'll just find their kid's seat, they'll start filling it out, and then we'll get started, like I said, whenever it's time to get started. So I'm going to get this up on the board, make sure I've got all the last minute things together, and then I probably won't chat with you guys again until after it's over and we can reflect. Alright guys, so it is a little bit later now. It's actually almost 3, so we're about an hour and a half away from our next session. But the first session went really good. It was at 12:30. I think my last parent kind of trickled back like in and out around like maybe 1:30-ish. And then I went and grabbed some lunch, just finished eating. But anyways, I thought we would chat about like how it went. So I ended up, I did pretty much exactly what I told you guys I was gonna do. The only thing, excuse me, the only thing that I changed up, that I did differently from what I told you guys originally, was I did make a slideshow. So I'm gonna show you that really quick. For the most part, there's a couple slides that have things on it I can't. But I'm gonna show you guys that. And it really helped. So I started out by having them come in, sit down, fill out the purple little slip that I had for them. The kids started coloring. They got their little treat, all that kind of stuff. I came in when it was time and I explained to parents, you know, that I had a video to show them from our admin team. And then we played the video. It was like 16 minutes long. So we sat here and we watched that for a little while. And then we, I pulled up my presentation and went through it. So let me show you guys what I made. Okay, so like I said earlier, this was what was on the screen like as parents came in. And then next one, I had classroom management. I just did this almost like a list so that I would, sorry, I thought somebody was coming in, so that I would remember like exactly what I wanted to talk about. So that was that one. Then I did one for our take-home binders. I went over like what the daily binders were, things to expect in there every day, as well as our communication folders, and just kind of chatted about that. So again, it was just kind of like a bullet point list of what I wanted to talk about, not necessarily exactly what they needed to know. I think the next one has, let me see, I'm gonna show you guys over here real quick. Yeah, so the next one is communication. So I'm not gonna show you that because it has my email address on it for the school. And then after that, the last slide was classroom needs, like, you know, things like this. And then that was it. So super simple. So yeah, I ended up showing that, and then that was it. I took questions. Actually nobody had questions, but I only had 5 kiddos and their families come this morning, so that leaves like 14 more potentially to come this afternoon. I really doubt that they will all come, but hopefully I can get a good chunk of those in this afternoon. Usually the afternoon slot is a lot more filled than the morning, or you know, the 12:30 slot. So hopefully more will come this afternoon, but it did go good. The kids that I got to meet were super, super sweet. And most of them said they were really excited for 2nd grade. So, and they seemed really like, you know, ready to go back to school. So I'm excited. I'll catch up with you guys again after the next session. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Alright guys, so obviously I am out of school. I'm headed home, actually almost home. My last session ended right at 5:30 and I ran out of there. It is now 5:49 and I'm headed home, but I wanted to share that I ended up getting to meet all of my kids today except for 3. And honestly, that's pretty good for my school. I know some schools you have like 100% participation. Some schools you have like 2 kids come. My school is pretty average on like, you're either gonna have all of them or you're gonna have the majority. So I feel like only not getting to meet 3 of them was pretty good. All of my parents seemed super nice for the most part. You know, nobody was like rude or anything like that. Nobody kind of gave off those bad like vibes. So I'm super excited for that. Like I said, I got to meet a lot of the kids, and they all seem so sweet. Most of them seem super excited to be back at school this year. Overall, I don't know, I feel pretty good about it. So I am really excited now that that is done to be able to start planning for the first week. Tomorrow I have Leader in Me training, which has nothing to do with this video either way, but what I'm leading into is on Friday, I'm going to film a plan with me for my first week of school, because we do start school on Monday. So I'm gonna show you my full, like how I'm planning, the things that I'm prepping, all of the things for the first week of school, just to try and give you guys some inspiration, or like if you're a new teacher, to just kind of show you what people do, because I know when I was a new teacher that was really helpful to watch YouTube videos or get on Instagram. Sorry, this is very shaky. But just to get on somewhere and be able to like watch what other teachers were doing. So that is what I'm gonna do. I am gonna go ahead and try to get this video edited and uploaded. I also need to edit and upload my classroom prep with me. And then, yeah, then we'll be on to our first week vlog next week. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video for Meet the Teacher. Let me know what you guys do at your school down below, because I love to hear other ideas, or if you have ideas that you do that I did not share, let me know, because I like to change things up sometimes and get to do new things. So yeah, let me know what you guys do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next ones. All right, bye guys.